Hello and welcome to Indian Masterminds. I am Pallavi and today we are with Mr. Shakeel Ahmad Ganie, an IRS officer who has recently been promoted as Joint Commissioner of Income Tax and is currently posted in Ahmedabad. Before this, he served for nearly 3 years as Deputy Commissioner of Income Tax in Srinagar, where he worked to strengthen taxpayer awareness, build trust between citizens and the income tax department. In this interview, we talk about his inspiring journey from Ganderbal in Kashmir to Indian Revenue Service, his experiences of serving his home region, his leadership philosophy, and his vision for the future of tax administration in India. So let's begin our conversation. Hi, sir. Welcome to Indian Mastermind. Thank you so much for joining.
Hello, Pallavi. Thanks for having me here. It's a pleasure indeed.
And so, sir, let's start our conversation. I would like to know, like, you grew up in Ganderbal and studied in University of Kashmir. So basically, your whole life was in Kashmir only. So did you always dream of joining civil services? Yeah, there was any moment which led you to this path?
Regarding that thing that I always wanted to join civil services, I'll say it's a categorical no.
Okay.
So my path has not been that straight. It has been a little curvy. It has been a twisted path, if I have to say it that way. Because initially I was planning for going into academics. That's why I adopted chemistry in my bachelor's. Then after that, there was a change of mind, and then I went for a master's in business administration. During that master's in business administration, I met some friends, and my elder brother was pursuing BBSc from Jammu, so he had this idea of UPSC and civil services. So that's how it crept in my mind. But again, after that also, it was after finishing my MBA, I worked in a bank for 3 years. So it was not again a straight jump into the arena of UPSC. So after working for 3 years in J&K Grameen Bank, I was posted in Kashmir only. And not one fine day, it was a process that was going on, and I was getting a bit bored, if I have to say, bored in intellectual sense, because it was becoming intellectually boring for me. So that's how I then made up my mind that I'll try for UPSC, because this is one of the fields that gives you great opportunity to be at the helm of the affairs and do something for the society. So not a straight path, but during the process, during my MBA especially, it crystallized a bit.
Okay. So how was the journey for preparing the UPSC? Was it straight path or was it again, with ups and downs? Because usually it is with ups and downs. It tries your patience and everything. So how was yours?
So in my case, initially, I remember in 2011 first, I got introduced to UPSC. I prepared 2-3 months for the UPSC, early 2011, I think, 2010, 2011. So then after I moved into the banking job, so this dream of UPSC or this idea of UPSC that went on the back burner, even I did not think about that. But once in 2014, when I resigned from my job and I straight away went for UPSC preparation, then it was a straightish path, because I sat in the prelims, I qualified, sat in the mains, went to the interview, and got the selection. So it was quick fire. I'll not say quick fire, but luckily, by the stroke of luck, by the help of various forces, it happened swiftly. So it did test my patience in another way, in different ways, because I had come from a job. Now again you have to start preparing, again you have to go into that student mode, etc. It did test my patience in that way, but not in the other way. It did not take me too long once I left my banking job.
So, sir, after that, in your first attempt only you got IRS?
Technically it was my second attempt, because during banking days 2014 I had given one attempt prelims. I had not qualified.
Okay.
So in my first attempt only I got IRS. 273 was my rank. Yes, it was my first attempt in that sense.
So did you ever try to give another attempt? Because usually what I have seen, people usually strive for IAS or something, but they try to get that. Even after you get any other service, still they sometimes, to improve their rank, they go for another attempt and everything. And since you got in your technically in your first attempt, you had attempts left, or it was exhausted age wise?
Not exactly exhausted. I had 2 more attempts left, because 4 for the general category were there, I think. So age wise also I had attempts. I had age on my side. I
Hmm.
could have attempted, and yes, after qualifying, I did sit in the prelims. I could
Mhm.
not qualify,
Okay.
but then I said, this is enough. I'm going to join academy. I'm going to enjoy training.
Right.
And then after I didn't look back. I had one more attempt left. I could have taken UL, etc., but I didn't look back.
Okay. So if I may ask, are you satisfied with the job and the profile that comes with IRS and the experience which you have had in the last few years in the field?
See, Pallavi, to be honest, it needs all sorts to make this world. There are
Hmm.
different roles you have to take. At
Hmm.
the end of the day, you have to understand your importance in the whole scheme of things.
Right.
So you cannot be the total system, because you as an individual has to be a part of the system.
Hmm.
So in that sense, yes, I'm satisfied. I'm a part of the system right now. I'm contributing in different ways. What we in IRS IT say, we are the breadwinners of the nation.
Hmm.
We earn the bread, we collect the taxes and all,
Hmm.
and those taxes fuel the whole administrative political machinery that
Hmm.
is important from the socio-economic development point of view.
Right.
So yes, if I have to go back and see these 8 years of my service in IRSIT, I'll say, yes, I'm satisfied,
Mm-hmm.
and I have made peace with it. Peace to that extent, yes, you cannot compare services with each other, because they operate in different domains. They have different roles.
Hmm.
Sooner you understand the fact that your role is going to be different from the other services or other people, the better it is for you, because you'll be able to understand your role, and in that way, you'll
Hmm.
be able to mentally and physically be at peace with it and
Hmm.
contribute in a positive way. For
Right.
example, in our service, we have when it comes to postings are at good places. The whole ecosystem, that is administrative ecosystem, the community wise, IRS community is a well knit community spread across across the corners and crevices of the country, if I have to say. So as
Right.
a community also, you have a very large community
Hmm.
that you belong to. And then this service also gives you that opportunity to have a wonderful work life balance also.
Hmm.
So that when I compare with other services like police service, administrative service, one of the things that IRSID provides you is that it gives you an opportunity to have that wonderful work life balance. So yes, in IRSID, I am contributing towards socio-economic development, towards the goal, and I'm doing that quintessential public
Hmm.
service. I'll say yes, I'm satisfied with IRSID.
Okay. And so just now you mentioned the work-life balance. So I think this is the reason why for a larger chunk of aspirants and the one who cracked the UPSC, now IRS has become kind of top choice. Not their first choice, but second choice. Most of the toppers, they are taking IRS as their second choice because it not only give you work-life balance, but it comes with various opportunities. I think you can go in various ministries at joint secretary level and everything, and you can do much more than what you expect out of IRS. Also, sir, I want to know, like with the movies that come on raids and everything, usually you associate income tax officer with the officers who will come at your place or at any business and they will raid. So this is one thing which you know about IRS. But when you enter the service, it's not only about raids because it's just one wing, which is investigation wing. So if I would ask you, like, what is one myth or one thing associated with IRS, which about their work, about their profile, that is not well known to public, but it is very important.
So I think yes, you hit the nail on the head, and I can figure it out. I can understand that you have a good knowledge about IRS IT also. The way you are quoting investigation wing, raid, etc. So yes, raid is one of the parts of one of the divisions, if I have to say, in the whole system or in the hierarchy of the things. If we see the vertical divisions we have,
Hmm.
so we have different vertical divisions. Like there's a division called as assessment, this division called as international taxation, etc.
Hmm.
So yes, this the file work part, maybe that file work part is not that visible in the public.
Hmm.
People associate mostly income tax with raids and coercive action, that we call in our language. Raid is the ultimate instrument, or the strongest or most intrusive instrument that is part of the department. But yes, behind all this, there's a whole lot of work that happens. Behind raid also, there's a whole lot of work that is happening, that happens every time. That's called as intelligence gathering. So intelligence gathering is one of the aspects that is supposed to be hidden from the public eye, because that is what intelligence is meant for. That aspect, again, I'll say, is hidden because income tax officers, income tax people, and all that, not typical of other intelligence agencies like raw or maybe IB, etc. But yes, we have a whole lot of field work going behind the rates that is almost hidden from the public, because people don't expect income tax officers or income tax staff, officials, etc., to be roaming in the markets or to be looking for the evidences, etc. So yes, one part is that. Another part is the quasi judicial part. You have to understand, at the end of the day, we are the main act, the main legislation we are administering is income tax act. Besides that, we have other legislations also, other laws also that we administer, like black money act is there, benami prohibition act is there. And this activity is purely quasi judicial, because you are sitting in the chair when you are making an order. We call, in our language, in our departmental language, we call that assessment orders. When you are making assessment orders, you are sitting in the chair to deliver justice. So maybe that part of the work the IRS officers do day in and day out may also be less visible to the public, because we are sitting in this chair to deliver justice. One more thing I would like to highlight is, we have not only the national, the horizon or the domain is not only national, it is international. Because IRS IT or income tax department, we have international taxation units in different countries that are manned or that are headed by IRS officers. Because over the period of the time, as the world is globalizing economically, the whole the horizon has broadened, the horizon is expanding in the arena of international taxation, because we have to understand what are the nuances of taxing international, what do you call as transactions. You have to understand the nuances of how to tax the profits of MNCs if they are deriving those profits from your sovereign domain, etc. So that part also, I think, may not be that visible in the public, that we call as international taxation.
Right. And now coming to your tenure at Kashmir, whenever you decide, when while you are growing up and you have your experiences, you most of the time wonder, like, I'll become something and I'll do something for my area, because you have seen things there only. You want to improve those things. And as an IRS officer, you were posted in Kashmir. You served, I think, 3 years there. So it's your home region. Looking back, now you are posted, now you'll be going to Ahmedabad with your new posting. What did the posting mean to you personally? Like serving in Kashmir, how was it? What are the memories or lessons that you will carry with you throughout the career?
See, again, local posting, I always tell my friends, colleagues, etc. Local posting is it's a double-edged sword.
Hmm.
It's one of the most tricky postings you have.
Hmm.
But from the perspective that I was out for some time preparing for UPSC, then for training, then I was posted in Jalandhar, etc. Once I landed back in Srinagar, it was like that proverb in English that says that rivers return to the mountains, carrying along with them the wisdom of the sea. So it was that type of the feeling for me, because the priority was coming back to the people. You have to serve the department. You have to serve people in that way. But let's make people more aware about taxation. What are the benefits of once you formalize your books of accounts, or once you formalize your business, etc. Let's move into that direction. And in fact, that has been one of the highlights of my recent posting. The recent posting, when I was posted as Deputy Commissioner Income Tax Srinagar in assessment role. So one of the things I emphasized and I personally worked on was creating awareness among the people, reaching out to the masses, reaching out to the different stratas of the society, not only the businessmen. I personally supervised that. I in fact launched that initiative here. That by the name Tech Talks. We initiated Tech Talks in universities. We did one program in Kashmir University. We did one program in Central University of Kashmir. So the theme and the idea behind that was to reach out to the next generation, the coming generation. Although they are not taxpayers right now in that sense, in the typical income tax department, income tax sense, they'll be paying GST, etc., in different ways. That is what we highlighted and what we joked about also. So the idea was to reach out to the the students, because they are going to be the future leaders in different capacities, whether as politicians, officers, or businessmen, etc. The idea was to make them aware that how much the direct taxes are important, because at the end of the day we see the stories in the public, we see the stories of the development, we see that we have made this bridge, we have made that highway, we have made this infrastructure in Delhi, in Kashmir we have made the connectivity has improved because of the railways, etc. We have made the tallest bridge on the Chenab, etc., the record that we established. But behind that, there's a whole system running that makes sure that the revenue is there or the money is there to fund all these activities. Because without a robust taxation system, all these things cannot happen.
Right.
So just in order to make sure that that awareness, the tax consciousness is increased, is there in the public, is there in the different stratas of the society. That was the basic idea behind the program. So that has been the highlight. So I have worked in that direction importantly, and then being in Srinagar, because earlier I was in the investigation wing also in Srinagar. So that was a different type of an experience, because working in Srinagar in income tax department, it comes with its own challenges. It comes with its own challenges because here the suffer is different. It's different as compared to Delhi, Bombay, the way we do actions there. While as here the issues are different. Similarly, the level of the awareness among the public in J&K is different. The level of awareness. Similarly, the ecosystem is different. The number of the chartered accountants, the councils, the legal advice available, etc. That altogether is different in Srinagar as compared to other places. So, meeting those challenges and reaching out to different corners of Kashmir, including places like Sopore, Bandipora, Kupwara, etc. That was one high watermark in my tenure recently, and that was one of the challenges. And then one more thing I would like to highlight, coming back to Srinagar, it had another aspect as well. In my capacity as an IRS officer, the one who is in public service, I also started interacting here with the students, with other people about UPSC, in order to create awareness about not only about UPSC but other competitive exams also. So I participated in many programs in Ganderbal, in Srinagar, in order to increase awareness about UPSC and motivate, and maybe to a certain extent, if I can, inspire students to take that leap of faith and join public services in different roles. That was also one of the things I did in particular when I was posted in Srinagar.
Okay. So, sir, now I have two questions. I don't know which to ask first, but let me go with my instinct. First, what is the flip side of working in your hometown? Like, there is an upside, which is you know the area, you know people there, you are very well aware about the environment, the local communities, and everything. So these are the upside that you don't have to go into the research like what works here, what won't work here. But what is the flip side, the back side of it?
So if I have to be short and succinct in this, I can summarize it into 2 points. First point is, once you are posted in home posting, for example, in a place like Srinagar, because NWR that is headquartered in Chandigarh, otherwise is a very huge region. But once you are posted in Srinagar and you are a localite, the expectations, the official expectations from you are very high. As compared to the person, if a person, for example, from other part of the country is posted, the expectations the seniors have from him may be relatively lesser, or they will be moderate. I'll not say lesser, moderate. But once you are posted, the expectations are higher, because you are supposed to know the culture of the place, you are supposed to know the geography of the place, you are supposed to know the, what do you call as economic, if I have to say, the economic geography of the place also. So the expectations are high. Second point I would like to highlight is the social expectations. Because whenever you get posted in home, a place like Srinagar, it's not that big a place as, like, for example, a place like Bombay or Delhi, that gives you the benefit of, or that gives you that provides you that anonymity. So you are not an anonymous person here. You are to an extent well known. People know you here, etc. Most of the people, etc., who take interest in what's happening in social life or public life, who take interest in who is qualifying, who is doing what, etc. So the level of the expectations are again higher. Social expectations. There's one term, kin keeping. So, for example, you have to make sure that the immediate family, the extended family, the larger family, they also have expectations from you in different ways.
Right.
So standing up to those expectations, that again is a very big challenge. It varies from person to person. It varies as per your background. It varies as per your attitude, or it varies on the scale as per your social cohesion, how connected with your society you are. I, who comes from a rural background, I come from the village of Barsu in district Ganderbal. So in villages, the people know you. All the people know you. So it's a well-knit community, etc. So that puts an extra burden on your shoulders. At times you feel like, yeah, that is something, some downside of it, the flip side of it, coming to the home.
Right. And now, sir, about your work, which is your highlight of your posting in Kashmir and Srinagar. It was the outreach program to make people aware more about taxation and everything. Still, we are in 2026. Still, the people who file their income tax, that income tax, not the indirect taxes, the direct tax, is very low. So, what do you think is the challenge that is still we are not able to, make people aware about filing income taxes more and more? What's the challenge?
See, again, at the end of the day, income tax department works in a whole ecosystem. It's a microcosm of what is happening
Mm.
in the economy, in the country as a whole.
Mm.
So the things that are needed to be done are, first, the tax consciousness is to be increased among the public.
Mm.
There is this direct connection between paying taxes, being an income tax filer, etc., and development. The more we are able to establish that connection in the mind of the people, that's what I am referring to, tax consciousness, the more we'll be able to enable or ensure tax compliance. Because at the end of the day, we have to understand our taxation system works on the mantra of voluntary tax compliances. We believe that people should voluntarily file income tax returns. After that, we'll be doing all the scrutiny, etc., but we'll do it in a limited way. We'll not scrutinize every income tax return. We'll scrutinize, again, that is not otherwise practically also not possible. And plus, our philosophy is voluntary taxation. So in that voluntary taxation philosophy, you have to emphasize on the importance on the link between payment of the taxes and the socio-economic development. I personally feel that sometimes we're not able to message or project it properly. What is the difference between the developed countries and our country is that the people there, they voluntarily are paying taxes because they know this is the money that ultimately comes back to us in the different forms, in the form of public services, in the form of good hospitals, education system, etc. So
Right.
that consciousness needs to be increased, and yes, department is working in this direction on different fronts. On different fronts, you'll see even on social media, we have apps, we have different social media handles, Twitter, Instagram. We're trying to make sure that we are able to reach to the different sections of the society through the media, through the mediums they are accustomed to: print, TV, etc. We're not leaving any medium behind. So that is one of the things. And then yes, we have to understand that as the economy grows right now, what is happening is the economy is growing. Obviously there will be a huge section that we call as the underbelly, or the middle section of the economy, lower middle class we call as, or the small scale industries, etc. We have to make sure that they are encouraged to formalize their businesses in the form of maintenance of books of accounts, in the form of ITR filing, etc. That has to be ensured through different means. That again has to be a holistic approach. On one side, we are creating awareness. On another side, we're also making sure that people know that the income tax department has the instruments in its hand, has the ways and means in its hand to gather intelligence about you. If you are not filing your returns, they can come knocking on your door. Third important thing in today's era, because as we are digitizing more and more, the economy is turning digital, the society is turning digital for its communications, etc. We have to make sure that we are present on the digital domain. And yes, department is already doing that. We are using AI tools, we are using information technology to extract as much intelligence as possible. So right now we have information, lots of information. We are processing that information in a focused way. For example, information about cash deposits, information about real estate transactions, etc. We are sifting through that information. We are crucibling that information to bring out the actionable intelligence. So it's a long drawn process. So we as a department are already working on different fronts. and this has to be continued. Maybe we have to make sure that we are up there. We are up there when it comes to the challenges thrown by the changing times at us, changing times like digitization, changing times like globalization of the economy. Just like in the outset, I mentioned about international domain.
Right.
International taxation is one of the domains. And fourth thing, we have to strengthen our legal system again.
Okay.
We have to strengthen in the sense judicial system. I mean to say, legal system is about making the laws. Judicial system is about making sure that the cases are heard and all. Again, one of the problems in our department is there's huge litigation, pending litigation, we call as. Department is already working on that, and as and when we strengthen, we improve that system of what you call as appeals, appellate matters, etc., appeal system, etc., the better it will be for overall country when it comes to taxation. So it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle on different fronts, and department is already doing that, and we are there on all the fronts.
And so you mentioned artificial intelligence. It's the topic to discuss in this year, or maybe I think coming 2 3 years. How do you think artificial intelligence is going to change our taxation system and revenue department overall? Has changed and will change in the coming years?
Already, if I have to discuss how much it has already changed the system, is that when it comes to information, earlier the information was it was bound in files, physical files and all that, that restricted the access for processing the information. Right now we are not held back by that limitation. Right now we have access to digital information, and the instruments and the wherewithals or the resources to process that information, we have those with us in the form of data processing. So right now, for example, when a person files ITR, it goes to the central processing center of the income tax department. It automatically processes it. There's no manual interaction involved, or there's no manual intervention. There's no human intervention involved into that process. It automatically processes it. It flags any discrepancies if those are there, and those get automatically communicated to the officer, to the SSE concerned, that these are the discrepancies. You have to make sure you have to provide explanation, or you have to rectify it, etc. The whole of the process is automated right now. So this artificial intelligence has substantially, it has humongously enhanced our ability to process information.
Right.
And in today's world, information in itself is a currency. Data is the new oil. If it's said in that way, in that parlance, it is said that data is the new oil. So with the enhanced capabilities to process information, it has already changed the system. Earlier we could not think of processing these much of the returns in this short span of time. Now we are doing. The refunds are coming expeditiously, and then with the help from the AI, we are able to identify discrepancies. We are able to flag certain issues that would not have been possible otherwise to work with, because the data processing was limited. But since we have good data processing abilities, that is being helped. So in a way, it's going to always strengthen the hands of the bureaucrats or the officers, what we call as machine learning. So it's going to be a synergy between the machine and the man, that we are already seeing. For example, in the arena of raids and all that, you come across earlier what was. It's an interesting thing, and it's an evolving thing also. Earlier, we used to find evidences in the form of the documents, etc. Now the world has moved beyond that. Now we find evidences in the form of digital trail. We find it in the form of digital form and all that. So you need all the instruments. I cannot delve into it much because it's part of the statecraft. It's part of it's something very confidential for the department. Now you have to be on your toes to understand the nuances. You have to be very good at managing technology or working with the help of the technology. Otherwise you'll be left behind. So there are so many interesting things happening. There are so many innovative things happening in this arena. The department is also, it's like a cat and mouse game. The people are ahead of us, then we find out how to break the locks, how to enter into their systems, etc. So it's an interesting arena. So the bottom line is, if I have to conclude it that way, the AI has already changed the department to a considerable extent. It's one of the departments that is using technology, one of the departments that is at the forefront of using or harnessing technology for better results. And we
Right.
have been able to do it through central processing. And now in other arenas, we have faceless scheme of the things where there's less interaction or less intervention, less human intervention between the SSE and the department, etc. So in different ways, it has already changed. And in coming 5 to 10 years, I believe the department will take a not a different shape, but yes, it will have a different type of working, etc. That will get settled over the period of time.
Okay. And sir, about Kashmir again, coming back to your experience in Kashmir, since you are from there and you have been observing as an first as a citizen of that place and again as an officer. So, having closely observed the economy over the past 3 years as an officer posted there, what changes have you seen in entrepreneurship, business culture, and tax awareness in that region? And are you optimistic about the region's economic future? Because a lot has changed in the past 4 or 5 years in that valley. So, what's your view?
So first of all, I'd like to say that there's substantial buoyancy in the system. People are really optimistic about things. If you come to Kashmir, we often joke with our colleagues, etc. The number of the restaurants, the names of the restaurants that will catch your eye. The names of the restaurants are quite, what you call as trendy names, theme-based restaurants.
Light?
So those are being established and manned by the young entrepreneurs. Earlier, 10 years back, if I have to see, there were a couple of, I'll not say there were limited number of the restaurants, limited number of the hotels, etc. In that classical way, in that traditional way, like the traditional businessmen, they were holding the ownership of those hotels, etc. Now it has expanded. If I have to use the word, it has democratized. So more and more entrepreneurs, more and more people, educated class from the non-business families are coming into the field of businesses. They're establishing small restaurants, they're establishing homestays, they're establishing camping, they're establishing tour and travel departments, etc., tour and travel businesses, etc. They're establishing small units. There are various industrial estates, industrial units spread all across Kashmir, all across J&K. They're establishing small industrial units, packaging units, etc. They are venturing into organic farming. You can see, I can see, because the algorithm works that way. It comes on my social media feed. The young entrepreneurs venturing into organic farming, into fruit business, etc. That was otherwise supposed to be the domain or the fiefdom of the traditional business. So I'll say, off late, what has happened with the help of social media, because it comes with a democratic force, it has again democratized the economic or business landscape of Kashmir. So that is one of the aspects. Second thing, with law and order, with stability, etc., comes business confidence. So over the period of the time, the business confidence, investment confidence has increased. That you can see that gets manifested in the form of the increased investment in the field of, like, the number of the hotels are increasing, the number of the cab services are increasing. There's increase in the activity of what you call as the number of the departmental stores, retail activity, etc. All across those activities are increasing. So yes, I'm quite optimistic. Second thing I would like to say is, with the developments we are having in infrastructure, yes, we have a long way to go. There's always scope of improvement. So as the highway connectivity gets improved and it gets buttressed by the railway connectivity, and then air connectivity also increases and all that, over the period of the time, I've seen geographically and economically, this region has the linkage with the rest of the country has increased. So
Right.
as the linkage, geographical linkage has increased, simultaneously with men or with the movement of the human beings moves the trade also. So
Right.
the trade activity has also increased. Number third, I would like to emphasize on the, the aspect. One of the strong areas of Kashmir as an economy has been horticulture, has been handicrafts, etc. And with the better technologies in the field, like if I remember 10 years back, the idea of, for 10, 15 years when I was studying in college, etc., the idea of cold storages, etc., was not there. But
Okay.
right now, you see the cold storages are spread across the nooks and corners of Kashmir. What it helps is, it helps the horticulturists or the people in that business to plan their business better, to formalize their business better, to market their produce better. Because one of the dangers of the fruit getting wasted, or fruit getting damaged because of lack of what do you call it, storage facilities, that has been countered. So with that also, the avenues for the people have increased, and it has lent certain force to the economy of the place. And yes, the generation that is right now, that holds the key to the success of the region, of the prosperity of the region, is the young generation. And I see hope in their eyes, I see that spark in their eyes. Yes, they are ready to take the leadership role and take the community and the place forward.
And sir, lastly, you have worked in Jalandhar, in Amritsar, in Srinagar, and now you are going to Ahmedabad. It is out of your zone also. How prepared are you, and how excited are you for your new posting there?
So I would like to say that this is the spirit of the central services. This is the spirit of the All India services. That is, I think, what you sign for when you take that employment offer, or when you take that offer that is given to you by the UPSC or President of India, Honorable President of India. So that is, in that spirit, I would say, I've always been excited about moving to different places, immersing myself into different cultures, etc. So this leap, this transition, or this posting that goes as far as Ahmedabad is again going to be very exciting, because Gujarat as a place is quite different from the other North India, the North Indian states or the North Indian stations I have been to, like Jalandhar, Amritsar, Srinagar, Jammu, etc. So I'm looking forward to it with hope that I'll learn more things. I'll evolve as a person. I'll evolve as an officer. I'll evolve intellectually also. So I'm looking forward to it positively. And yes, that is what means to be a public servant, and that's what means to be a central services officer.
Okay. So, on that note, thank you so much, sir, for giving me this opportunity to talk with you. I'm really grateful. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me here. God bless you.
So, this was Mr. Shakeel Ahmad. I hope you enjoyed our conversation. To listen to more such interesting conversations and stories from bureaucracy, like and subscribe Indian Masterminds. Also, press the bell icon so you don't miss any updates from our channel. Till then, this is Pallavi. Stay tuned, stay curious with Indian Masterminds. Thank you so much for watching.